Hey folks, welcome to 9 to 5 to Freedom. My name is Alex. In this video, we're going to do week 25 dividend review, how the portfolio is doing, what we got ups and downs, what we got in dividends, what's going on in the market. So glad you joined us this morning, and let's get right into it, folks. Got a lot to cover. We'll try to make it quick so you can get on with your weekend. Okay, let me switch to my screen. So S&P 500, folks, has been climbing, and looks like we are pretty much recovered since the dip that we had back in April. So it's very positive. There's still some talks around the tariffs. I know there's some things that came out yesterday with ending the tariff talks with Canada. So I'm not sure what's going to come out of that. But there's also talks about changing the Fed chair. So a lot of stuff is going on, but we're watching the market. So the big one, the big takeaway from this week is what happened on Friday, and this really hurts my portfolio the most, I would say. And that was Palantir Technologies. We had the Palantir stock went down over 10% on Friday. We had a sell-off. As you can see, after hours, we had a little bit of a recovery. So we'll see what happens on Monday morning at the open, but it this was a huge dip. Okay, let's talk about the portfolio, see what we got going on. But before we get into that, we'll just wanted to give a shout out to all the folks who are joining this channel, signing up, subscribing. We got 123 subscribers, so thank you for all the new folks. Okay, let's talk about the portfolio here. This is my dividend portfolio. I started this in the beginning of this year. I had a smaller position than which I've increased over time to roughly $186,500. I did take some distributions out of it, and on Friday I took $3,700 out of this portfolio in order to pay some bills. So we had this big dip, folks. Let me just show you here what we got. I'll try to zoom in a little bit. So on Friday, this is how we finished. Okay, we'll sort this by value. Okay, so my largest position right now is in MSTY, and this had about a 0.6% drop on Friday. We're down $346. Now MSTR, the underlier, let's see, has been a bit volatile in the past month. As you can see, we had ups and downs as low as 368 up to 392. So we're kind of on this downtrend right now since our last high on June 25th. So we'll see if there's going to be any uptick. But as you know, with these dividends from YieldMax, it really matters what the underlier are doing. You know, if it's going down, then obviously we're going to be losing on those options. But the 52-week price, as far as MSTY, we are on the low side. So I think this was a decent price to get into, and we'll see those fluctuations as long as we can continue to recover the dividend. Next position, QDT. This is from Roundhill on the QQQ. We actually had a positive uptick, 0.42% on Friday. So this was nice to see. I'm really loving this position here. This pays around 35, I think around like 35% in dividends. So really nice one here. XDTE, this is another one from Roundhill. This is on the S&P 500. Again, we've seen an uptick on Friday. Overall, this one is down 6%. And unfortunately, I placed all of my orders back in March, right before the dip. So I kind of got into in the wrong price, but it's been slowly coming back, which is nice to see. All right, PLTY, this is the big one. This is what really pulled me down on Friday. I was down $2,800 yesterday, and because of Palantir dropping like a rock. Now, as you can see, the Palantir was down 10%. PLTY was only down 8%. So we'll see if this adjusts, but hopefully on Monday we'll see a small recovery. I'm planning to see at least a 3 to 4% uptick. We'll see how it works out over the weekend. So this was a little bit tough to swallow, but that's it is what it is with these volatile stocks, and having such a large position, I'm really starting to kind of rethink some of these strategies that I'm doing with going heavy on these single stocks. BTCI, this is from Neos. This is on Bitcoin. This one's been a solid performer. We had a small decrease on Friday, down $185. Small pullback. We've seen Bitcoin price going down back to like $100,000, slowly crawling back up. I think we're at 100.06 last time I checked. Let's see what we are this morning. Oh, we're already up to 107. So this going up is a good indicator for BTCI. That means on Monday we should open up with a high as long as Bitcoin stays high over the weekend. So really liking this one. It pays good dividends monthly, and I don't think Bitcoin's going away. So I wanted to have a stake um, in this market. Okay, next one, Nvidia. Nvidia has been on a roll. We're up 3.86% since I've bought this stock from YieldMax. So this one pays great dividend. As long as Nvidia momentum keeps going, we're gonna receive the dividends, hopefully recover all that kind of good stuff. Tesla, this is from YieldMax on Tesla. This one's been rocky. We had a huge pullback, then we had a swing up once they announced the robo taxis. So it's been a little bit choppy, but overall, I'm still in the green on this position, which is good to see. Coney, this one I got in, probably not at a good price, but I wanted to have a small position in it. I'm about 5.86% of my portfolio in this. We had almost a 5% correction on Friday, which was a pretty big hit for me. So we'll see what coin stock. I don't think coin's going anywhere. It's a great platform. A lot of folks use it. Let's see here. Coinbase stock. If I can spell stock. So yeah, we had a pullback on Friday, 4.27%. Overall, we've been on an uptrend since June. We're kind of flat throughout June, and then we've had this uptick. So we'll see what happens with it. We're gonna watch it. I didn't want to go too much into it, but I wanted to get something on that week to get more dividends in there. So next one's AMDY. AMD has been on an uptrend, which is nice to see. And we actually finished flat on Friday. So this was kind of interesting, but I have 1,000 shares of this. We're down 2.23% overall. Next one is Hui. This is from YieldMax on Hood. This one we received a dividend on Friday. And so far, it's the dividend I got. We'll get into that, but we haven't recovered the dividend yet. So we're gonna see what happens next week. Hood, the underlier stock Hood, has been really on a huge climb in the past month. If you go back to May 28th, we were at $65. Now we're at 83. So we had a small pullback. We'll see if this continues to climb up. Will be nice to see that. Okay, next one is SMCY. Now this one I bought way back, and it's been slowly recovering. I was down as much as like 21% if you've seen my previous videos, and SMCI, the underlier, has been climbing back. I think it's going to continue to do that. A lot of positivity around that. Look at this. We went from $40 on June 23rd to $49 on June 26th. Had a small pullback. Hopefully this was our latest low. We'll continue to climb up. All right, and let's see. The last one here is TSMY, and this is on TMC underlier. Let's see here, and we did have an uptick on TSMC. And let's look at year to date. We are up 13.39%, which is nice to see. So as long as there's good news out of Taiwan, and we continue to see TSMC as the leader in the chip manufacturing, I don't think it's going to go away anywhere with all the investments in AI and robotics and everything that's utilizing these chips across the world. We're going to be bullish on this. So I don't have a large position in this. We're up 1.72% year to date on TSMY, yield max dividend payer, but got about 250 shares there. So let's talk about the margin and everything else that we have here. Okay, my account right now we are down 1.64%, down about $4,500 for the year. And as you can see, a huge portion of that was from this pullback on PLTY on Friday. Previous to that, we were floating around this week around only 0.5% down, which was really nice to see. Now, my margin position here is quite a bit high. Okay, I'm a little bit bullish, and this a little bit in outside my comfort zone, but I have about $118,000 in on margin on these shares. Okay, so and my own money I have right now is $156,700. So if you combine the two, that's going to be the amount of dollars that we have in between all of these funds. So we'll just do some quick math here. 156,724. So $275,000 roughly in these positions. Now, if we switch over to dividend view, this is going to tell us what we're expecting to see as far as the dividends for this year, and it's showing $196,653 dollars in dividends. So 196 divided by 275, that's about a 71% dividend that we're expecting to receive, which is super, super high, obviously from these very volatile stocks that we have here. Now, one thing to note, obviously, is keep an eye on erosion. And NAV erosion is a real thing. Anybody tells you that it's not is fooling themselves. Really, what you got to watch out for is the momentum in the underliers. So we want to make sure that whatever these yield max funds that we're buying, that there's potential for the underliers to continue to move up. Means that there's good news about how these companies are performing, earning calls that they're profitable companies. We don't want to be buying into things that are going to continue to decrease, and you're just basically getting your own money back, and you're losing the capital that you have invested. So right now we're doing pretty good. Obviously, seeing a lot of red here is not as fun, but we should see some recovery as long as the market continues to move in the sideways and up direction. So let's talk about what I got in dividends for week 25. This is our tracker. I've updated if you haven't seen my previous video, but basically I'm tracking here these dividend payers. So let me just see if I can lock this in. All right, and then we're going to zoom in case you folks are on mobile. Okay, so week 25 is what we're focusing on this in this video today. And week 25, we had obviously the weekly pairs. XDTE, we got $279. As you can see, an increase from the last couple of weeks. We've seen better payout, which is good, and obviously that's tied to the S&P 500 moving in that positive direction. QDT, this is on QQQ, and this one is up. Let's see, from the last payments as well, we got $384, which is really good. BTCI, we got $582, so that was a nice dividend. Coney, $535. AMD $462, and Hui $650. So overall for the week, we got $2,894.80. Now, if we jump back to the portfolio positions, let's see what has recovered. So BTCI, we got $582. So BTCI, where are we sitting in BTCI? Okay, so we are, we were down on Friday, $185. So we did recover partially. Coney, $535. What is Coney? $480. Okay, not as great of a recovery. So we want to see Coney move up because that dividend basically just lowered the amount of the value of our stock. We will basically getting our money back on that one. So that one is, we're gonna keep an eye on. AMD, $462. Let's see what we finished on Friday. AMD, we were at 187. Let's see. No, we were at zero. So we did get, we did recover AMD. So that's a nice one. Hui, $650 dividend. And Hui is, let's see here, overall it's down 511. So Hui has ways to go to recover. Okay. Um, so that's what we got. Now, one thing if you watch my previous video, we were floating around like $160,000. As I mentioned, I did pull like $3,700 out of this. And if you haven't seen my video that I made last, how to live out of your brokerage account, I get into the details. Okay, some folks, they just want to grow their portfolio. They want to, drip. They want to continue to reinvest the dividends, buy more shares, all that kind of stuff. What I'm doing is a little bit different. I took the money from my real estate. I dumped it into this portfolio. I leveraged it by using margin, and the dividends that I'm getting, I'm paying off some of my debt. Now, once my debt's paid off, then what I want to do next is to see if I can actually live off of these dividends and slowly continue to reinvest the difference that I don't need. So, for example, if I need $5,000 a month to cover my bills and I'm making, let's say, $7,000 a month in these dividends, what would happen if I reinvest at $2,000? And that's really what we're doing with this experiment. So, year to date, now, if you're new to this channel, most of the money into this account went in on March. It was like middle of March, right before the tariff announcement. So kind of not the best time to do it. Now I've played around, I've sold some stuff, took some losses, I've had some gains, I did some day trading, I've made some money, I lost some money, not counting the day trading that I've been doing, which, if we were just looking at the dividends received, really in the past months since, since March, if you look here, and I calculated total ROI. So I looked at everything that I pulled out of my account. I looked at all the distributions that I took in order to cover my bills and stuff. What I did the math, I got about $19,500 that I actually received in dividends that actually recovered, and I looked at the whole ROI. So that means I looked at what I invested initially, what I've taken out, and where we're sitting today in that account. So $19,500, and that's before I went in on all these margin and all these risky ETFs and stuff. So we're gonna see how this is gonna continue to trend, but right now we're averaging around $6,000 a month, which is just phenomenal. Okay, so we're gonna keep on tracking that, and that's really brings us to the end of this video. So I'm glad you stuck around. If you did, please give me a thumbs up. Share this video for those who are interested in this topic. Just tracking my performance here. I'm just looking to, to grow this account, to pay my bills, and to one day really reach that financial independence. So take care, folks, and have a great weekend.